Alright guys, so I want to go ahead and talk about this today because honestly this is like, it still baffles me that this actually happened last night. So if you watched the game last night, right, you saw how many times the right tackle for the Chiefs, James, jumped over and over and over and over again. And they did not call it into the final drive where, yes, it was called on the biggest play of the game against the Chiefs. I want to play this audio clip from last night. Okay, I can't show the video because the NFL would take that on video, but I want you to listen to what Cris Collinsworth, right, says about this. Because I think a lot of people might have missed it last night, or you kind of forget about what happened last night. So let me go ahead and pull up the clip, guys. Listen up to what he has to say here.
Let's take a look one more time at this. You can see a lot of movement by Jawaan Taylor on the outside, but he is in a battle.
So it's interesting. You said earlier he's so deep you wonder if he's legal or not. Let's explain that while we have a second. Terry McCauley is with us back in the studio, three-time Super Bowl referee. Terry, let's just talk about how Taylor is lining up. Not the early movement, but where he's lining up to Chris's question before, is he legal or not?
Sure, Mike. To be on the line, his helmet has to break the waistline of the center. And to be honest, we've watched him the whole game. He's really not remotely close. And it's really putting the defensive end at a tremendous disadvantage when he can be that far back.
So again, it's the center's belt line, and does his helmet go there? Across. And then it's that early jump he gets. And the Chiefs knew that. They played against him in Jacksonville in the divisional playoff in this stadium last year.
But I give him credit for that, for the ability to time out the snap count the way that he does. But it's also part of the responsibility of the coaching staff of the Lions to go, hey,
point it out.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know, you can't give him that kind of advantage.
And you see Branch being walked off.
So I don't think it's questionable why that is the most stupidest thing I've ever heard. First, the head of refs just said, yeah, we've been watching him all night long, and he's supposed to have his helmet on the line, and he has not been doing it all night long. How is the head of refs saying all night long this guy is not on the line? The reason why you have to be on the line is because if you're not on the line, you have to report as eligible because you're a receiver. If you are on the line because you're a right tackle, you have to be on the white line. Your helmet has to be on the white line. He's not on the white line all day long. He was off the white line. And then the fact that following that up, Cris Collinsworth goes, well, it's kind of on the Lions. It's kind of their fault there because, you know, they should really be telling the refs what's going on here. And not only that, the head of refs literally says, yeah, you know, that's not right because that gives the Chiefs a competitive advantage. You know, that puts the defensive ends at a competitive advantage. So you're saying he's false starting repeatedly, which is giving the Chiefs a competitive advantage. He's not doing the correct job, and you guys, as it very is clear, have heard this, have seen this all night long, and you just don't correct it. You don't change it. You don't say, hey, Chiefs, you can't do that. That's literally cheating. Because, yeah, you gotta line up on the line. You can't line up behind the line. Like, it's baffling me that the NFL even let that air out. Like, if they would have not said anything about it all night long, right, and it was just kept quiet and said, oh, whatever, it happens, right? Like, and they would just ignored it, I don't even think I would have picked up the fact that, like, he wasn't on the actual line. Like, he wasn't actually lining up correctly. I thought he was just false starting, like, getting an early snap 6 or 7 times in this game. No, he literally isn't even lined up correctly. So, whoever is going against him to try to get a pass rush around him to get to Patrick Mahomes can literally not get to Patrick Mahomes because this guy is already starting before the play starts. And Cris Collinsworth says that is the Lions' fault. Because the Lions are supposed to say, hey, By the way, let me tell you, refs, they're cheating. Why aren't you stopping them? Like, no, that's the NFL's job, okay? The NFL's job is if the head of officiating is seeing something happen every single play, and very clearly throughout the game, as he said, their job is to stop the game and correct it because you're letting a penalty that should be called every single play not get called. And yes, they did call it at the very last play of the game. And what's funny is when they called the penalty on them at the very end, you know what Cris Collinsworth said? Finally. Huh, they finally called it. They finally called it. So this team is false starting every single play throughout the whole entire game. Finally, the ref, who the head officiating, the refs, they all know this is a penalty. They all know he's doing this. Finally, he called it. Listen, I'm not making this video to bash on the Kansas City Chiefs, okay? At the end of the day, they played a great game. And they almost won, right? And I have no problem with that. What I don't like is this stupid bullcrap ref nonsense that is not fair for every single party, is always having problems, and can never get anything right. But when you continuously throughout the game, your head of officiating, your literally Cris Collinsworth and the other announcer is saying they're literally cheating, and it's the Lions' fault. It's a clown show. Like, that just ruins the product. Like, listen, I don't care that it was the Chiefs doing it. It could have been anyone doing it. My whole point of view is, I love football, right? I love watching it. I get passionate. I scream. I yell. I go crazy. This is what I love to do, okay? When I see crap like that and hear the announcers and the head of referees say that, I'm like, well, then who cares? Because why do I care if, one team is allowed to do that? What happens if the Lions all game long with a false start? They probably would have called it all day long on the Lions. It's a bad look for the NFL, and the way they just joked about it, like, oh yeah, it doesn't even matter. Like, they literally just said he got a competitive advantage over you because of something he's not supposed to be doing. It's mind-numbing. It's mind-numbing. And yeah, the Chiefs lost in the end. But the funny thing is, right, it's not going to be corrected or fixed. There's nothing that's going to come out of this. It's just going to be like, oh, that happened. Whatever. And it's just ugly. It's bullcrap, man. But what are you going to do? It is what it is. There's nothing that's going to change in all this. So tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I want to make this video talk about and give my thoughts and opinions. As always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.